Books. It's been a while since I've made a reading-centered video, so it's high time that I got back into it. Here are 5 more underrated reads I've read this year. 5 again, because that's how many I spoke about last time, and I want to keep it uniform for now. Kicking off our list is Residual Hate by Steph Manser. Now, if any of you follow me on AO3 or Tumblr, you already know a bit about my thoughts on this story. It's an adult fantasy novel set in a world full of mages. It stars Hitori, a mage that doesn't seem to have anyone in this world except for her best friend, Kamatari. Well, that might not be the case anymore when the son of a duke just so happens to have an uncommon form of magic. Who's sent to be a certain somebody's new pupil? You guessed it. So, now you've got a mage who's not used to being around a lot of people. Her friend, who is as much of a brooding loner as he can be while still basically being her big brother. The pupil, Phelan, who's the only outgoing person in this group. And his bodyguard, Kaylin, who is mostly trying to figure out how to keep Phelan alive and also figure out what the deal is with these 2 strangers they've come across. It's hard to describe how much fun these characters are. To the fanfic writers and readers out there, I'm sure you understand how it is to read something and be like, nope, I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. Sorry. I'm taking these characters now. Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. So there are already 2 fanfics within this world as of this recording. More are on the way. I definitely recommend checking this novel out. Again, it's adult fantasy, so although it's not full of explicit scenes or anything, just be wary and know your limits. There's also a lot of diversity in this story, both in terms of cultures and sexualities. So if that's something you especially look for, then I recommend it even more. Next up is The Court of Dreams by A.J. Nora. This is an epic fantasy series that's partially in our world and partially in another one, thanks to the portal fantasy subgenre. Go along with that, there's a dual POV, showing you what life's like for one of our leads, a waitress named Lana, and a fae prince named Vasilios. During 4 years of not knowing what happened to her mom, Lana has mostly spent that time making sure her stepdad's okay and dealing with her newfound fear of the dark. Meanwhile, the prince is dealing with problems of his own, since he represents a union of 2 kingdoms, something that makes him actually more of an outcast and a respected person in his own home, because he's just too nice to order the execution of everybody who bullies him. Naturally, their stories have to intersect. Book 2 is already out, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet, since I've got a lot more books on my TBR. That said, I'm really excited to get into this. On my other platforms, I was talking about how it's basically like a way to get into horror. I could easily see this turning into a horror fantasy with the way some of the scenes played out. No spoilers, of course, but there are some monsters and, oof, I would very much like to not ever face one of these in real life. Please and thank you. There's some diversity in this one too, with a demisexual main character. That was neat to see. Now we have Inheritance, an agropunk thriller by Joyce Reynolds-Ward. This is part 1 of an adult cyberpunk novel series. This book takes place in a dystopian future where indentures are people who are forced into servitude through the help of programming and technology. The former rodeo queen, Ruby Barkley, has few choices if she wants to keep her horse ranch. So she enters the competition again, this time faced by none other than her cheating ex-husband, Gabe. Boo. If this wasn't difficult enough, the competition was highly political, requiring careful maneuvering at every level so that cameras and microphones don't pick up anything that they shouldn't. Of course, with people watching so much, it only makes sense that they use this against you. This is yet another struggle of Ruby's as she tries to figure out if the competition is merely another rodeo or if there's something malicious going on. As a foodie, I cannot tell you how quickly I would have tried to build a time machine to go back to when food supplies were real. Almost all the food here is synthetic, and it was mentioned how it tastes off. For that alone, I wanted to pull the characters into our world so they could have a proper meal. Then there's the whole indenture servitude angle. I'll pass on that too. It's especially worse outside of North America, since there can be a reproduction aspect to it, causing servants to be used to bear children for those they work for. It really paints a horrific image of a world that made me feel so bad for everybody. Like the first two stories, there's murderversity in this one. This is the type of world I think of when I picture dystopias. So as someone who doesn't read sci-fi very often, I mean look, there's only one on this list and my current TBR doesn't have many more. It was cool to see. Coming up in the left corner is Echo Sight by Cyan Verratti. I hope I've been saying all these names correctly. Very sorry if I'm not. We're back to fantasy with this one. It's an adult fantasy / romantasy series. Note that I didn't say just romantasy. There's a lot more going on here than only romance. Like action, which is really the way to my heart. The more stabby characters, the better. At the front, you've got Anaka Adelaire, a Scorcher, aka a Phoenix, who is also a hunter for a specific type of monster called Senka. These will infect anything and turn them into a hive mind sort of creature. But thankfully, they can be burned to death, which, Phoenix, fire, hey. So you see how that works out. After our poor hero is sent on another seemingly normal mission, they're faced with the realization that just about everything is going wrong. So, there are two options here. Either keep going and try to not die, or dig deeper and get to the bottom of whatever the higher-ups don't want them to know. This is really fun. Just as I don't really read sci-fi, I read romantasy even less. However, the romance in this is adorable, and I'm excited to see where it goes. To put this into perspective, I'm someone who will roll my eyes at the super sappy Christmas movies, and it's all about going back to your hometown and falling in love with an old flame. So for me to say that the romance was an aspect I enjoyed means a lot. And I wouldn't say that for the sake of it. Inaka is a very lovable character, and so is Rowan. This book was in first person, but it still offered a lot of fun looks into the other characters, and it's got both amputee and non-binary representation. And finally, there's Silent Lust of Us, a hidden case behind digital eyes, by Miss Existence. This is a short story, but it's still fun, and it's also the start of a thriller series. Particularly, this is a conspiracy thriller, which was new to me. Detective Adams is on his toughest case yet, leading him to Arthur Monroe for help. This is how we are told the story of a young lady named Christine, who lives a perfect little life in a perfect little town. Do you believe it? If you answered no, then good. You've already got a detective spirit. More and more, you watch this image of herself in her quote-unquote flawless neighborhood, or broken down. You've got freaky nightmare sequences, POV switches, and a story of learning to not push down problems. I'm curious what's going to happen next with this one. So if you're into thrillers and have a bit of free time, again, it's pretty short, so you could be done in a night. I'd really suggest checking this out. Like the last video with the books, these are all in the community, our Tumblr bookstore. You can find that link in the description as well as links to these different books. I've had so much fun being part of the community. I probably never would have found any of these stories without OTB, and it's also been really fun to talk with the authors, which is actually a major part of the group. As authors, it's fun to geek out about books with our readers, and as a reader, speaking personally, I love to geek out with them. So, this leads to a fun time on all ends. I hope you'll check out these books and that community. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time.